Welcome to the GibbsCAM 10-minute demo. Today we're going to show you how to do multiple operations with multiple solids on multiple vices. You can see my part here. I have a top side, operation 1, second side, operation number 2, in two different vices. I'm going to bring my vices out of the body bag, and you can see I have my first part placed where I want to on the vice here. I'll turn off our cam for a moment here. So I need to get my part over in the second vice so I can do this second operation on the bottom side. So I'm going to highlight my body there, go to Modify, Duplicate, and we're going to just mirror it this time. I have my second vice set over at 12 inches from the first vice, so I'm going to use my mirror line at 6 inches and my Z at -1 because my part is 2 inches thick. Click on Do It, and you can see now I have a part in the second vice there. If you click on one of the parts, either one, you'll see they both highlighted because they're considered one because they were duplicated from the main one. So we need to separate those. So bring your 3D palette up, click on this button that says Separate, and you can see now they are both independent. So this one I could move around where I need to, or the first one, without affecting the other one there. The next thing I need to create is stock. I'm going to create a solid model for the first vice. And if you bring up this palette here from the Create Solids, you'll see where it says Cuboid. If you click on Stock Dimensions, it's going to pull the information off this screen here for your original stock size. And you can click Do It, and now you'll have stock in the first vice. Let's take this stock and let's go Modify, Duplicate, and let's just translate it over 12 inches this time. And now you can see I have the same stock in vice number 1 and vice number 2. Let's just click on those, right-click, go to the body type, tell it it's stock. So Gibbs knows to render stock on both these. And I want to separate those as well. Okay, let's just put them both in the body bag for right now. We can get them off our screen. The next thing I need to do is create a coordinate system. You can see I already have the first coordinate system already set up. This is the original coordinate system when you create your stock in Gibbs, the default. I just gave it a name of G54 so it can remind me that's the vice I want to use for G54 output. And notice where WFO is, that stands for Work Fixture Offset. I have a 1 in there. That means for Gibbs to output G54 for everything I use in this coordinate system. I'm going to create a new coordinate system by clicking on New CS. What it did is it just duplicated the one I was already on. I'm going to give this one a name of G55, and the WFO I'm going to put in as 2 because I want Gibbs to output G55 for the second coordinate system. You can have as many coordinate systems as you want, but you need to remember to put in the correct WFO for each coordinate system. So now we have our first coordinate system, our second coordinate system, but I need to move our coordinate system number 2 over to the second vice. So I'm going to click on this button that says CS Palette. Click on this little point button here where it says Change Origin, and I'm going to move G55 over 12 inches from my original. So I'm going to click on Do It. And you can see now I have G54 on the first vice, G55 on the second vice here. Okay. I'm also going to tell Gibbs to associate this second vice, this second part, with G55. So you can do that just by highlighting the solid and right-clicking. Click this button where it says Change Coordinate System XYZ for this part here. Okay, now we're ready to start machining. I'm going to bring up my Tools and Cam palette, and I already have operations I've done previously. We're just going to go through those to show you how that's done. So here's my first operation, vice number 1. Notice I have it in G54. You can choose now your coordinate system. So G54. And I'm going to also use the profiler. Click on here. I'm going to click on Redo. Our second operation, take a finish pass on here. Again, G54. Third one, put a chamfer around there. We're going to spot drill the holes. Redo that. And the last thing, to chamfer the holes there, G54s again. So now if I cut part render, You can see it's finished off in the first vise. Now while I'm here, I'm going to create a solid model from what I've cut already. So I'm going to click where it says Flash CPR, go down to where it says Create Facet Body. And what that did is Gibbs just created a faceted body from what you machined on the first vise here. If I put away the rest of this stuff here, let me bring out my facet body. You can see it's transparent. Gibbs creates facet bodies as transparent bodies, so you can tell that this was machined from the first vise. I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to first turn it into stock, and I'm going to go to modify and mirror it in the X and Z, same dimensions I had before, to put it over in the second vise so I can use that as my stock on the second vise here. I'm just going to put that in the body bag because we really don't need it over there. And I don't need this rectangular stock in the second vise if you don't need to. So I'm just going to delete that. Close up our body bag here. Now we're going to do cut part render. And by turning on cut part render, let me rewind it, play. And what you're going to see in the second vise is everything you've machined on the first vise. So there's your faceted body over there on the second vise there. So now we need to start machining the second vise. So let's turn off cut part render. Let's open up our tool in CAM palette. And I already have operations for the second part here. We're just going to go through those as well. So I'm going to highlight this one. But make sure you choose the correct coordinate system, because if you choose the wrong coordinate system, when we're machining over here, we think we're machining over here, we're actually going to be machining over here. So choose G55. I want to come in and cut the inside of that out. Second process, I want to come in and rough the outside, take a finish pass on the outside. Again, G55. We'll redo those. I want to take a finish pass on the inside, G55. And the last thing is to put some chamfers on the holes that we've drilled from the first vise. So again, G55, and highlight the holes. Redo that. We'll close everything here. And then we'll do a cut part render. So turn on our cut part render, and we'll slow it down a little bit. And we'll do the second vise. And now we have a complete part from vise number 1 to vise number 2. You can see it's complete, and it looks like what we want here. So the next thing to do is just output the G-code file and see how our output file looks. So I'm going to turn off cut part render, and I'm going to bring up our post processor now. Click on the post processor and make sure you have the correct one for your machine, and click on process. We'll zoom this up a little bit. You can see our first coordinate system, G54, tells you where it is. We'll go through the operations down here, countersink, drill. You can see now we're on our second vise, G55. It's 12 inches from our first coordinate system. Although this doesn't necessarily need to be 12 inches, you can actually, since we're using coordinate system, this vise can be anywhere on your CNC because you set up your coordinate systems on your CNC where it is. This is just telling you where Gibbs put it, where you put it in space when you created this coordinate system. So you can see you can have G55 down through there to the end. Now you can always optimize this as well. You can see the tools and operations. You can see I'm using multiple tools on multiple vices here. Now you can move operations around by dragging and dropping, or right click and say move to wherever you'd like to make this more efficient for how you want to machine. Thanks for watching the GibbsCAM 10-minute demo.